Good evening. This is the Wednesday, June 20th Finance Committee meeting for the town of Auburn. Being 7 o'clock, we're starting on time. Our agenda tonight will be reviewing and voting on multiple transfer requests. Most of these are year-end transfers, fiscal year-end transfers, and then we'll adjourn. So we'll get right into it. Our first transfer that we're going to take tonight, we have the town treasurer here. Mary Ann, do you want to come on up, or a quick transfer? Up to you. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you.
Nice meeting you.
Hey, Mary Ann.
Hi.
This transfer is a $2,000 transfer to miscellaneous supplies from the interest on abatements account, which also has a balance of $2,000 in it, so we'll clear that account out. This is to purchase new paper shredder to be used by all town hall departments. Manager and assessor shredder recently broke. Do you have any questions on this?
Motion to recommend. Second. Motion approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you.
Right?
Have a nice night. Okay, we'll go back in order on these. And Lieutenant Harrigan's here. Our first transfer is within police. If you want to come on up, Lieutenant. Nice to see you tonight, too.
See you, thank you.
Out here, Chief Coleman's here. Jeff Miller, Bill Coyle.
Just this one?
So now we can lock the door. We've got two transfers. They're both going to the dispatcher's line item. I'll accept the motion to take these two as one.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. The first is from physical fitness, transferring $7,000 from that account. The second is from patrolman. We're transferring $5,000 from that account. And the reason for the transfers, offset payroll shortfall resulting from a prior erroneous transfer from the account. Now, we've seen a few of these transfers going on, right?
Correct. Not for an error made, however. Just for some history, we over-exaggerated our encumbrance, so I relied on an available balance that I thought was more than it was in actuality. So when we transferred that money out, it resulted in a shortage now in this account. So we're looking to make that right with this transfer.
This is your last chance, right? It is the end of the fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I triple-checked, quadruple-checked. This should be it.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a nice
Good
evening.
night.
Two.
Our next transfer is Fire Department. Chief Coleman's here. Chief, good to see you.
Good evening, how are you?
Yeah, sneaking in at the bell, that's great. And we got, what, 2 pages of transfers here? The first is a reserve account transfer.
You got him?
This is from the salary and wage reserve account. This is for overtime, and it's to cover anticipated overtime. Amount requested is $9,714, and there are several other also overtime transfers going on. So Chief, if you could give us, well, if you have a total, that'd be great, of total transfers that we're looking at.
I do, Mr. Chairman. The total of the transfers into overtime is $18,800.79.
Okay.
And as you recall, when I was here in May doing an overtime transfer, I had informed the committee at that time that I was going to be back for end of the year. So the total anticipated shortfall is the 18,800. We had $9,086.79 within the various accounts within the department to transfer, but that did leave a shortfall, which was the request of the 9714 from the reserve, salary reserve account.
Okay. I'll open it up to questions. Ed, did you have an additional comment on it?
No, I think Steve covered everything.
Any questions? Kevin? Okay.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too, thank
All
you.
right, we're just going to go through the rest, Chief, and we don't need you here for those. It's all going to overtime, right? Okay.
It is all going overtime.
Wow, so there's 8 more transfers all going to the overtime account. I'll accept the motion to take all of these as one.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, the first, now, this is once again to the overtime account. First transfer from miscellaneous supplies, $3.52. From the travel account, $2,552.83. And that leaves what, about $400 in there? Any reason why we're leaving $400 in that account?
In what?
The travel account? Unless there was something else.
Well, there may be some obligations against that.
Okay. From dues and meetings, $1,251.72. The equipment account, $694.24. Clothing account, $1,452.28. From the new equipment account, $180.27. And the holiday payroll account, $1,421.52. And from suppression, $1,530.41.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Our next transfers, this is all under the DPW. Chief Coyle's here, or Director Coyle is here. Come on up, Bill. You're going to have to be comfortable here for a little while, huh?
Good evening.
Good evening, nice to see you.
241, yeah.
So the first three transfers, it looks like 1, 2, 3 are all going to replace pipes and catch basins. I'll accept a motion to take the three as one.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted, okay. First transfer, and the reason for the transfer is used for road reconstruction, so good use for that, self-explanatory.
Correct.
Unless you had something exciting to tell us.
Nothing exciting, no.
Save it for another.
It's funds to be used to go towards roadway work.
Great, where it should be, okay. The first transfer is $490 from training, clears that account out. Next transfer, $5,000 from sediment disposal, that makes sense. Clears that account out also. The next transfer, $4,770 from GIS and inspections. And let's see, that would be it for that. Any comments or questions on balances that were still remaining in those accounts before transfers? Okay.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. The next transfer, $495 for de-weeding ponds. This is coming from the public education account.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. The final transfer on this page is, once again, to replace pipes and catch basins, so I missed that one. From the public education account, $505 requested.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Our next transfers, let's see, this is, well, the first one is to the overtime account. This is under DPW Highway. Amount requested $1,433.14, and this is to eliminate a deficit. This is from the clerical account.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. The next three are to the wages full-time account. I'll accept a motion to take these three as one.
So moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. First is from the clerical account. Amount requested $958.45. If I'm reading that correctly. The second, this is from a different wages full-time account. Amount requested $2,800?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And the third is from the part-time custodian account, and that was $212.91.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Next page of transfers. This is under facilities maintenance. There's a request for $959.50.
50 cents.
I
I don't know why yours come out so light.
It's definitely not me.
Running out of ink.
It's definitely not me. Thanks.
Might need money for the ink.
This is going for the skilled craft differential. This is a payroll differential, and this is to eliminate a deficit.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thanks. Under DPW Highway, now, we've got several transfers, all related to storm, snow and ice, et cetera. Do we have like a total dollar amount that we're trying to transfer tonight?
We had the total,
Yeah, hold on.
I know we've moved some.
$142,018.75 out of the reserve account,
Okay,
after these internal transfers are made within snow and ice. So
okay.
this is within, so it would be a total of $142,018.75.
and I believe at previous finance committee meetings, we transferred
Right.
30,000 from our wage account into snow and ice.
Right, okay. So our total deficit was approximately,
170? About 170.
Yeah.
how'd that compare to last year?
It's 30,000 less than the previous year.
Less than the previous year. So somewhere in this terrible winter we had, it was
Not as bad as the
last
year
year?
before, correct.
on some,
Close, though. $30,000 better.
seemed worse. All right. Any other comments before we go through these, because...
What did we have, 50,000 for snow and ice?
So we've got, first transfer is to salt and calcium, which is to reduce the deficit, $10,000 from sand and gravel. And that clears out the sand and gravel account.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. The next two are going to storm meals. I'll accept a motion to take those as one.
So moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First one from sand and gravel, which, did we actually have availability on that?
Sand and gravel, we didn't use any of it, so it was 10,000, which probably why we also had 5,000 available for sediment disposal, because we didn't use very little sand this year. We had sand stockpiled.
I'm just
the
thinking
minimum
the
amount we
balance here. This is a bookkeeping question, Bill. Because are we taking 10,000, then taking another 293.23?
That's a good question. I'm not sure why there'd be more than 10,000 in there. It might be a typo, because it's a different account number.
This, yeah, it's a different account number.
5533 versus 33.
That's a different account.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
good catch.
all right, so we're transferring 293.23 from some unnamed but very important account for storm meals. And we're also transferring from electricity and traffic lights, $176.50. Do you have a motion on these?
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. We'll find that name before we lock this down.
I'm looking it up right now.
I guess that transfer page was a little clearer than the last one, Bill. Our next transfer, still relating to snow and ice, this is a reserve account transfer. Amount requested $11,334.60. Actually, this is for equipment rental. Now, this equipment rental, is this part of,
Equipment rental, the
this case.
employees that we hire out, contractors.
was this still related to the snow and ice?
It's all snow and ice.
It is,
It's all the
okay. Just-
private plows.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that 5533 account is sand and gravel, but that's under a different org.
Okay.
So there's a sand and gravel under snow and ice, there's a sand and gravel under regular highway.
So it is.
Yeah,
I knew you guys were right.
So we didn't make a mistake.
no.
We'll use "we" now. If it was wrong, it wouldn't have been "we."
There you go. That's a team player. All right, we have a reserve account transfer. This is under storm meals request, under snow and ice. Amount requested $305.08.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Another reserve account transfer, there will be several of these. Salt and calcium, amount requested $89,932.69.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Reserve account transfer, snow and ice related, plow blades, amount requested $1,303.70.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Mine died. I'll take care of that.
This one?
Yeah, if you don't, thanks. Reserve account transfer. Also for snow and ice related, this is part-time wages. Amount requested $12,015.63.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Reserve account transfer. Snow and ice once again. This is the overtime account. Amount requested $27,127.05.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, so that will do, you, Bill, that's all of the snow and ice
That should be
transfers then? Okay. So once again, it was about $170,000 between last meeting and this meeting.
Correct.
We've moved from other accounts to cover this, and we have bumped up the budget next year by a total of
50.
About 50,000.
50,000,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Good, we're getting there. Okay,
And we also increased the reserve account by 25, so that gives us a little
yeah.
flexibility there,
Pushing
too.
on it, so, good. The next transfers are all under Packagug Golf Course. All of these transfers, there's 3 of them going to the seasonal golf line. I'll accept a motion to take them as one.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. The first transfer, this is all the seasonal golf, so Bill, if you could give us just a brief on specifically why the transfer is in. I know that budget is still fairly new.
Sure.
And if you could give us just a real quick update on how the golf course is doing. We're at
Absolutely.
the end of the year.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. The golf course, the seasonal employees that was our second year. But this past year was our second year, fiscal year. Going into the third year, we did adjust the numbers for FY19's budget. On seasonal employees, we increased it by 4,400, and this was back around January, February, when we were developing the budget. The total transfers are still more than that. We're at 58, 60, 300, I believe. So we're still probably running a little off there, but we're getting closer to a more accurate number. So it's something as we go each year, we're trying to tweak our numbers to get closer and closer. I can tell you, at the end of the year, because it is an enterprise account or fund, we're right at pretty much what we budgeted for the year total. So I felt very good about that. And in terms of how we're doing this year, because of the late season, we started about $15,000 behind last year, and we are now about $15,000 over last year.
Wow.
So we're running even higher numbers. We expect to complete about, end the fiscal year at about $400,000 this year. So you have roughly 2 more weeks to get there, and based on numbers that we're looking at currently, I feel comfortable that we have a very good chance of hitting the 400. I'm very confident we probably will. So we're doing very well.
So
Great crew up there.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier with them.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, that's great. And everyone's complimenting the course still, so it's still shiny and new as far as, nice people up there.
Yeah, like I said, it's the place I go to get away from some of the stress, because that's where everybody's happy. Unfortunately, I can't.
Are you running over any Titleist balls when you're cutting the grass?
I've had 2 in my yard this year.
Really?
Can we get those back?
I think so. When you start cutting the rough a little lower, something I can play out of, then we'll talk.
Okay.
All right, so we've got 3 transfers. First one is from Fuel and Utilities, that's $1,000. The second transfer is from the contingency account, and the third transfer is from the equipment account. All this is going to seasonal golf.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you.
Is Kenny here? This is his budget.
Kenny is not here this evening.
Not here? Okay. Yeah, the next set of transfers is under cemetery, and these were, we'll take these individually. First transfer is to the cemetery salary account to meet payroll liability through 6/30. The additional amount required is as part of the reorganization that happened a little earlier this year. Amount requested $2,557.46.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. The second transfer is to the clerical account, $425 from the labor parks account to meet payroll liability. Additional amount required due to reorganization.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. And the final transfer, $2,301 from the labor and parks to the wages account for the same reason, part of the reorg that's going on over the cemetery.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Okay. Under parks, this is a transfer to the seasonal parks account to meet payroll liability, and this is additional hours due to a man out on workers' comp. Amount requested $5,800 from the labor/parks account.
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted.
That wraps it up.
This is under the sewer division.
I would turn it over to Jeff
We're
Mitchell.
going to pass the baton.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bill, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thanks, Bill.
Jeff, good to see you. How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Oh, good. I know we've got some verbal approvals in here. What I'd like to do is, I don't think all these they're all related to the break, correct? These transfers?
No.
Some were electricity, right? Which we've talked about.
The verbals were all electricity, all but one transfer was for overtime.
So the first set of transfers, this is both going to the overtime account. Did that go deficit due to the break, or was it multiple things going on?
No, actually, we carried or we will be carrying the break through the deficit account. So this is through normal operations.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so what we have then is two transfers going to the overtime account. I'll accept the motion to take them both as one.
So moved?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Reason for the transfer to cover overtime through 6/30. Deficit due to unforeseen alarms and sewer force main breaks. Amount in total requested is $8,000. $6,500 coming from the wages account, $1,500 from the repair account. At this point, I'll open it up to any questions or a motion.
Motion to approve?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Okay, the next set of transfers, and I'm just looking for these to be validated, I guess is the correct word on it, is on June 5th, I was requested to make a verbal approval on several transfers, mostly to the electricity account. Bills needed to be paid, I think, as I remember what was going on.
That's correct, otherwise they would have, we would have had late charges.
And I will say that these transfers, actually, I did forward along to everyone in the Finance Committee, and I didn't hear anything back on any questions on it.
Thank you.
So the total amount going to the electricity account, did we have a quick number on that? Because I'd prefer not to read all these.
I don't have.
There you go. Number at the top.
Oh, okay.
23,450.
So the total amount that's that we verbally approved here, $23,450 going over, and I'll just open it up for any final comments on that. I know the 19 budget we adjusted somewhat, but that's still
Yeah, the
subject to,
crystal
right?
ball towards the end of the year gets a little hazy, so.
A lot of things do. That's fine. Do you know how much we ended up transferring in total to electricity? Because these weren't the only ones, were they?
I think there was, another,
There was another set of them, right?
yeah, was it 9,000, 11,000 or something? But there were, the big difference was the credits that we get from Terraform, the solar.
Yep.
The credits are up and down, and then the charges that we get from them are up and down. We don't see, we won't see anything for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden we'll get, 4 months worth of invoices from them, and, unfortunately, the credits that we were getting have dropped off. They're not as much because initially when we first started, the credits were about double the amount that they were invoicing us for, but now it's gone down to maybe a quarter, or not double, but I mean, we're only getting about a quarter over what we're being invoiced for. So it was hard to set the budget, according to the drop-off on the credits.
And as I remember you mentioning, I think at a Board of Selectmen's meeting, a lot of it still was, we had a lot of rain. When there's a lot of rain, the electricity is just on just a pump's mechanism.
It does affect it somewhat.
Yeah.
Not as much as it has in the past, because over the last 3 to 4 years, the money that I spent to remove the I&I has helped, but we still see somewhat of an effect of the rains.
But I think this is one area we're really going to have to focus on and possibly make an adjustment at the fall town meeting.
Yeah.
Given the level of transfers needed for this fiscal year.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. Will we be able to address the sewer break issue at fall town meeting?
So the sewer break issue, we are going to raise on the recap sheet and recoup that through a user fee. So it may be an increase, but it would just be for 1 year, and then it would revert back, because we wouldn't have to raise those funds the following fiscal year.
And I think under public disclosure, we're actually adding to our capital plan, putting more money aside for additional work relatively. What do we add now, 50?
We,
100?
Yeah, 100 through capital, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
For inspection and that type of, and repairs once we find it, but we did appropriate 200,000 through town meeting for 2 of the areas to zero in on and do inspections and whatever repairs are needed once we do the inspections.
Okay. The bottom line is our sewer bills are likely to be going up for a year, if that's how that works.
Not, and it won't be a crazy, increase.
I was hoping you'd answer the question.
I can
Comment that way.
guarantee that, because I've done some prelims on it, and it doesn't look like it's going to be catastrophic by any means.
Good. Well, hopefully we can get ahead of the weaknesses we have in the system. That'd be great. Okay. Jeff, is that all we have for you? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's plenty, but
Isn't there 2 from?
did I miss some?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think you're going to have to just do that one.
Was it in that package?
Oh, did you include this overtime one?
Yeah, look, I included it.
Solid waste?
The original overtime?
No.
It's on the other sheet?
The one that's on the
Okay, so,
electricity sheet?
all right, you're all set.
So he's all set?
Yep.
I'm all set, so he's, okay.
She gave me the ones from Fleet, that must have been from before, right?
Should we vote on?
Hold on, let me take a look.
Approved or not?
I just,
Just to,
I'll accept the motion to validate the verbal approval.
so moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved.
I did these because it's under 250.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was running.
Yeah.
Okay.
All set, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Our next transfer is under legal,
Yeah, thanks. guys.
and this is a transfer request of $5,925. See you, Bill. Take care. Have a good night. 59 cents to the negotiator account from the special litigation account. That closes out the special litigation account. Transfer is to cover June 2018 invoice. Cover in full?
So we do have a matter currently under special litigation that is being handled by our insurance company. We're responsible for the first $10,000 of legal under the policy. We haven't been billed for 3 months on this policy. That being said, the matter is still ongoing, so it may require a expense out of next year's special litigation account, but we believe that we've met all of our obligations for the current fiscal year. So this money is left over. We're putting this into Labor Council for a matter that is still ongoing in arbitration that I spoke to you earlier about, that we did provide some additional funds for, hoping that it will cover the expected June invoice, not knowing what that value is going to be. It may require an additional transfer, and I will let you know once that invoice comes in, but we try to provide enough money to cover an anticipated bill.
And I believe you said we do have a small amount of money left in the reserve accounts after tonight anyways.
After
I know we
tonight,
got another week in the
Correct.
year, so, okay. Okay, good. Any other questions on that?
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Okay, we have a transfer. This is under Town Hall for General Services. Let's see, multiple transfers. First one, amount requested $1,200 to the advertising account. This is for advertising costs for several job vacancies. This is from professional services.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted, thank you. Next transfer, $5,000 requested to go to the telephone account to meet anticipated costs for the June final invoice. This is coming from the postage account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Our next transfer, $4,000 to the equipment maintenance accounts to cover year-end costs for copier leases and maintenance. This is also coming from the postage account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. The next transfer, amount requested $1,699 to the office supplies account to transfer funds to cover shortage for miscellaneous/office supplies. This is coming from the insurance and bonds account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. And final transfer on this page, amount requested $9,000 to the negotiator account for ongoing litigation to be billed in June 2018. This is coming from solid waste collection account.
Motion to
Just,
approve?
sorry, just a quick question on that one.
Sure.
So you said we were obligated on the, is this the same matter, or is it a separate matter? You said we were obligated for the first 10,000. I see we're up to 14 on these transfers.
This is the same matter that's currently going before an arbitrator. That's a lengthy and long drawn-out process. This probably will not get settled until sometime in September.
No, my question was that you said the insurance policy requires us to pay the first 10,000.
No, this is not this. This is a different case.
Different case, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I liked your first answer better. Do we motion on this?
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Transfer request under Town Hall General Services. Amount requested $1,500 going to Town Council. This is to meet estimated June invoice for general legal counsel. This is also coming from solid waste collection.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Also under General Services, a $5,000 request to the electricity account from the streetlights account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, under employee benefits, these are all transfers to the Medicare account. Yeah, we came up with a number. I don't know what I did with the number on this total amount.
It's about $25,000.
25,000? And I asked you, and I guess if we could explain just for the folks at home.
So, quite honestly, this is tough to gauge given, we index the Medicare account every year by the value of the COLAs and factor it by 1.45% that growth. But there are a number of things that go on during the year, new hires that are going to impact this account. The teachers' summer pay lump sum, which just hit this week, that value was not known until that was paid. We did transfer, as I indicated to the chairman, $17,000 for last year. And when we did that, this budget was already approved. We should have done an adjustment at the fall town meeting, at least by that value. We did not. So we will plan on doing an adjustment at the fall town meeting to account for this. This will be permanently baked in into the base. So we'll have to make an adjustment to at least provide some additional funds in addition to the increase that we anticipated already through the budgeting process for FY19.
Any questions or comments to that? So we're moving over a lot of money, but I guess it's not abnormal for us to have done that. That was my concern when I reached out to the CFO. The balances that are available in these other accounts that we're transferring over, is there anything extraordinary about them?
Well, unemployment comp, we don't know. I mean, certainly that can fluctuate from year to year. Luckily, we had a good year in unemployment comp. Medicare penalty, that is something that the federal government charges for those individuals who retired at age 65 or later. There's a gap that we have to make up for those individuals that may have gone out, after age 65. So hopefully that will dwindle as years go on. The health mitigation is something that we contractually committed to. We set aside $25,000, and we reimburse the employees for specialty co-pays, the difference of the old and the new for a year. So we had a surplus in that account. And no other surprises in those other accounts. I mean, it's just small balances.
Good, so we've got 5 transfers, all going to Medicare.
Motion to take as one.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, so I'm just going to read through the list here. This is all going to Medicare. From unemployment compensation, $9,000. From Medicare penalty, $1,900. From health mitigation, $10,000. From wellness initiative, $1,000. And from group insurance, $5,000. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Thanks, Ed. And our last 2 transfers, this is from the salary and wage reserve account. This is a buyback for the town manager, I believe. Amount requested, $4,570. This is, the reason for the shortage is a buyback vacation in accordance with employment contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. And also from the salary wage reserve account, also a buyback for the town accountant. Amount requested, $5,002. Reason for the request, buyback vacation in accordance with Section 4 of employment contract.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. So, that concludes our transfers.
Mr. Chairman, in summary, after these transfers, it will leave a balance in the salary reserve account of $12,168. It will leave a balance in the regular reserve account of $12,094.25. Now, hopefully, certainly we have a bill schedule in July. I'm hoping that we provided funds to meet all of our obligations as it appears right now, provided there are no emergencies or any surprises. That being said, I don't know if we'll need a July meeting, but certainly I can keep you informed as time goes on, if anything should be required. And if it's limited, I don't know if the committee wants to authorize for the, all depending on amount or depending on volume, whether we want to do it,
A verbal in that
then meet,
case.
and we can ratify that at a later date. Or we can just play it by ear if you like.
Yeah, and I think if it's a, you know, certainly over 250, but if it's, let's just say not an exciting transfer, then I'll certainly share that information, and if I'm not comfortable with either the number or the why,
That's fine.
then we'll just address it the hard way and come in here steaming in July and try to figure it out, so, but that rarely happens anyways. What else is going on before we adjourn? Anything?
We're just busy with closing out the fiscal year, beginning the new fiscal year. A lot going on in our office anyway, so it's a busy time of year for us, so.
That's fine, Ian.
How are we doing on revenues?
That's a good question, and I looked at that through May. It looks like we're on the plus side through May by about $750,000, so that's good news.
Nice.
I'm expecting revenue to exceed $1 million over estimated. And it's too hard to say what the closeouts will be on the appropriation side. I would venture a guess about $500,000. So that would put us at about 1.5. Certainly don't hold me to that because you never know what June is going to bring in. But that's positive news. We had significant growth in the permit side because of Reliant at the Auburn Mall. I think the permit fees alone for the Auburn Mall brought in about $250,000.
Wow.
Well, that's,
So that's huge. That's
one-
big.
But that's one time.
Yeah.
Right, that's one time, so we can't rely on that in future years, so looks like motor vehicle excise is above estimated. Everything is running above estimated, which is good news. But as we all know, there'll come a time when that will slow down, and so we've experienced some real rich years the last several years, so
Absolutely.
that'll be good news for free cash, hopefully.
Yeah.
No, it's good. So on a $4 million budget, we've got 24 grand left over to play with if we, you know.
Yeah, on a budgetary basis, I think things were running tight this year. We don't have the closeouts in police and fire that we had in previous years, primarily because they filled all the positions. So that surplus is not there. And it makes it tougher for them to meet some of the operational needs, not having that flexibility that they had in prior years. So I think that's why it was important to adjust overtime, so there wouldn't be a reliance on the reserve accounts because they lost that operational flexibility because those surpluses are not there anymore.
Good. And 4th of July, our celebration falls in fiscal next year, so that's nothing for us to worry about here. That's
So, right,
Sunday the 1st,
the
right?
payroll, I mean, the celebration itself will come out of
Next
the
year's,
current fiscal year. But the payroll obligation, because it's July 1st, will hit next year. And they've accounted for that. They
Yes.
provided for that.
yes, okay. Good. Any other questions, comments?
No.
You might have to hold your peace for 2 months if we're lucky, so get it in now. That's great. There being nothing else, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so, thank you.